So the Sinclair Method is a specific way to take the naltrexone medication in order to achieve what's called pharmacological extinction of the alcohol addiction, meaning you are extinguishing the addiction from your brain pharmacologically. So the Sinclair Method protocol is taking naltrexone, waiting 1 hour, and then drinking on the medication naltrexone. In the most basic sense, that is what the Sinclair Method is. You take naltrexone, you wait 1 hour, and you drink on it. Again, the clinical term is pharmacological extinction, but it was given the name the Sinclair Method over the years after the researcher who discovered it, Dr. David Sinclair. This is a specific way to take the naltrexone medication so that an individual has peak levels of the medication in their system right before they drink. And so with peak levels of naltrexone in the system, when someone drinks on the medication and they do it over and over and over again over 6 months, 9 months, a year or more, the end result is going to be pharmacological extinction of the alcohol addiction, meaning the brain has essentially unlearned the patterns of alcohol use disorder that have developed over years or decades. This treatment has over 100 clinical trials proving it has a success rate of about 78%. So it's not going to work 100% of the time for everyone, but it does have a very high success rate. So when people reach pharmacological extinction through this treatment, again, it takes time to get there, 6 months, a year, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. But once they get there, what's so unique about this treatment is that if they want to keep alcohol in their life and continue to drink socially or, on occasion or on special events, they can if they want to. They would just continue to take naltrexone beforehand, and it will prevent the brain from redeveloping the alcohol use disorder, because that's really the root issue of what's driving compulsive drinking is changes that have happened in the brain. Additionally, though, when people reach the extinction point, if they want to go alcohol free, they can do this typically much, much easier because they're no longer craving alcohol. They're just uninterested in alcohol. And it's really easy to not do something if you don't desire it or crave it. And that's what happened to me through this treatment. I actually started it in 2017 with the intention to drink moderately and be a social drinker. And over time, this treatment got me to that point. And it was so cool to be a moderate drinker who had control and drank socially and didn't get drunk anymore, didn't have hangovers anymore. It was awesome. But after a year on this treatment, what happened for me is I just became so uninterested in alcohol that I just kept not drinking. And 1 month turned into 2, 3, and 4. And after 4 months of being alcohol free, I decided, well, I don't think I'm going to drink anymore. And that was about 5 years ago. I still have naltrexone. I don't take it anymore because, again, it's only taken 1 hour before you drink following the Sinclair Method. But I keep it on hand because I might drink again one day. Like, I'm not saying I'm alcohol free forever. If I have a desire one day to drink, I will allow myself to following the treatment. But like I said, I'm just so uninterested in it that I haven't had a desire to drink. So I hope that explains it. The basic protocol of the Sinclair Method is taking naltrexone 1 hour before you drink, at least 1 hour. Some people find waiting a little bit longer can help. And this book is all about the Sinclair Method, the cure for alcoholism, the medically proven way to eliminate alcohol addiction. So you want to check this out as well if you're curious about the science behind it. And of course, like what we always tell people in our program is that the Sinclair Method protocol and following that correctly and giving it enough time to work is about 50% of the equation. For me, I would not be where I am today without this treatment. It saved my life. But the other 50%, of course, is how we are meeting the medication halfway, because the medication and the protocol is going to work to gradually quiet the desire and the craving for a drink. And when that happens over time, we have more space within us to develop new hobbies and find new coping tools and create a life that revolves less around alcohol. And sometimes we can get stuck in habitual drinking when we go on this treatment. Like, we kind of lose our craving for it, but we kind of drink anyway because it's a habit or what have you. But that's something to just be aware of, that this is a very powerful treatment protocol. But the medication is going to work to quiet the desire for alcohol. It's not going to work to give you a new coping tool when you have a stressful day, or it's not going to work to give you a new habit when every night you drink a bottle or two of wine, So that's just something to be aware of. Sometimes people start the medication and they're relying exclusively on the medication and the protocol to do everything for them. And while it makes making this change like a completely different experience. It's so much easier to do through naltrexone. You're going to want to do more than just take the medication. So that's something to be aware of. And that's honestly why we created our program, to really give people the additional support, guidance, and coaching to make this change, because it's a long-term treatment protocol. It needs time to work. And that's one other thing I want to say, is that the changes with this treatment are generally gradual. They're continuous, but they're gradual, and there can be ups and downs. That's why it's a long-term treatment protocol. It really needs time to work. But for most of us, the results are cumulative over time. So if someone's drinking a little bit less a month in, 4 months in, 5 months in, a year in, they're going to continue to see those results. They build and build over time. Sometimes people think that the medication stopped working if they're seeing a spike in their drinking, but that's not typically the case. The medication does not stop working because, again, you're taking it in that targeted dose right before you drink only. And what that is really speaking to oftentimes is just the habits and the coping tools around drinking, and other life events that can cause us to drink excessively. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you so much for asking.